Hello, one and all, and welcome to another video on the Baggers Chat YouTube channel. My name is Mitch Pattinson, and as always, we are joined by Ethan Daffy. And today we have some more news, another trade request that has the player has elected to join the Carlton Football Club in 2026, and we are of course speaking about Buku Khamis from the Western Bulldogs. And I think it's great to kind of realise that we now have three players now, Daffy Boy, already, and it's not even trade period that has requested trades to the club. So I know that 2025 was not a great year from an on-field standpoint, but I guess to get some players in and maybe trade some players away, and who knows where this trade period kind of leads with players coming into the door. I don't know if we get a big fish or not, Daffy Boy, but it's quite promising to see Buku requests a trade to the Carlton Football Club so early. But first things first, mate, I'll throw straight to you. How are you and your first thoughts about Buku? I know that you love him in the Carlton jumper, but what are your thoughts?
No, I'm well, mate. Obviously, grand final week, feeling good after a Collingwood prelim loss.
Come on.
What's the difference between a prelim final and not making finals, Pato? What's the difference between losing a prelim final and not making finals? Nothing. They're in the same boat as us. They ruined their chance. I actually think we're more on the up in terms of our list trajectory in terms of age. They spent $900,000 on Houston, but this is not about Collingwood. Their season's done, and Dacos will lose the Brownlow tonight. Anyway, on to Buku Khamis, which is the main part of the video. Obviously, he's my initial thoughts. I was pretty keen on getting him through the door. In terms of our depth. And I actually think he can I think he might surprise a few people. I think he's had a bit of a, he's played 31 games in 2 years, which is not terrible. He made his debut in 2021. He's played 41 games in total, but obviously the Dogs have been pretty good. I'd guess the last few years they've been a pretty solid team. 2021, they made the grand final. So, he's traded to seek more opportunities at senior level, and clearly Carlton have not guaranteed it, but almost guaranteed it to him. Clearly they see him filling some sort of void, whether it's behind the ball or forward of the ball. That we'll have to wait and see. But I'm really keen to get him in. He's a good age, 25. And there's something about it. I don't know about you, Pato, but when someone wants more senior opportunities, I feel like they will grab it with two hands and really work hard for it. Clearly, he's a fucking athlete. So, that's that's not a worry at all for me. He takes big hangers, and he has kicked a few bags in his time when he does play forward. So, really, really keen about this. And, when you lose Silvani, maybe that's, are they feeling the void of Silvani and they go, you're going to be, the second or third. That's not me saying it. Maybe that's what they're saying. It could be. There's so many different options with him, but I'm really pleased that, he's requested a trade, and adds to that depth, doesn't it? Doesn't it? You just go, okay, we've got a guy who we know can do a job forward of the ball and in defence.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about it, where we have a guy that, like Silvani, you can use forward, but also use in the back line. So I guess the question is, before we throw into more stuff, like heading into 2026, if Buku does enter the club, what position do you think you would want to see him heading into? What position do you want him in for 2026?
Yeah, it's a good question. I wouldn't be against either, because obviously there's so many moving parts at the moment. With is Charlie going to be there? I don't think he will be. So do they go, okay, you're going to be the second. We don't want you to be a superstar. We just want you to clunk a few marks, be the kind of connecting piece with Harry. Because you look at other teams, sometimes the second forward isn't a superstar, but they get the job done. Maybe that's what he goes, okay, I want to go play for Carlton because they guarantee me suiting up next to Harry. Like, they might think of that. It's a good question. Do we need it in defence? I think if he plays defence, I think you could probably say goodbye to Mitch McGovern in terms of just depth, because you add that, and then if he's guaranteed time, Pato, 25-year-old versus a 31-year-old, then they might be thinking, okay, Mitch, time to go. Like, he's out of contract. It might be the easier option to let him go. I'm not saying that's a guarantee or anything. I know there's a few clubs interested, including the Suns, which is a surprise. But in terms of your question, Pato, long answer short, wouldn't mind him forward and putting Kemp in defence. But if they play him in defence, he's got the ability and the athleticism to, fly and take grabs, which hopefully gets us out of our seat, Pato.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point about you mentioning Brody Kemp transitioning back as well. So in my mind, I don't know why, but I've always been very interested in the key stocks and how many key stocks we have. But I think heading into 2026, and that's not even including McGovern, I'm on the opposite side where I think he might stay.
Yeah.
Gov, I would like, but it's more hope. I would like him to stay, but also I feel like there would be more opportunity from other clubs that we probably would offer him maybe a 1 year for 300K, but say Gold Coast might offer him 2 for 500K, or Brisbane or whoever else is in the runnings for Gov. I think that might be the conversation where maybe we do push him away, because that means that a guy like Buku Khamis can come in and fill that void. But I'm more looking at it where the defensive stocks, we've got Wieders, we've got Haynes, we've got Kemp. So Kemp was obviously played as a forward, but I want him to now transition back. We've also got Lewis Young as well, who I think is quite serviceable. But then I think if you have Gov there, that's probably 5.
Yeah.
But whether we maybe recruit like an Ethan Phillips from the VFL, I don't know. I feel like with Buku Khamis coming in, I want him to be a forward. I think it's good to have that utility type. I think heading into 2026, I think it would be good for him, like it was for Silvani last year, to finally have a role locked down. Khamis heading into the club knows that he will be a forward. I think that's probably good for him. And I think he's been more... more appealing as a forward than a defender. I still think he's serviceable as a defender. But,
absolutely.
I think he's been more like seeing him play for the Dogs as a forward. I'm like, okay, I can recognize him more as a forward than a defender. But I mean, that's like everything. That's like everyone playing as a forward. But I like heading into next year. We've got Mackay. We've got obviously Buku as well. But other than that, there's not too many key forward stocks with obviously Lemmy getting delisted. So I think having another key forward would be good. But I think that's also good to have Kemp as a player, because I think he's better as a defender. Absolutely. But it's also good to have a utility type that also can transition forward. So I think having Khamis and Kemp is good. But kind of hearing that, like those key stocks, do you think in your mind that heading into trade period and even like the start of next year when we might have 2 or 3 list spots available, whether that's Will White or I don't know exactly who it would be, but would you think that you would probably try and look towards getting another key stock into the club, like probably more like a key forward?
Yeah. I think you can look at cheap ones, but in my opinion, I think we need to push away from the 2 big fellas.
Yeah,
it's not working.
Yeah,
it's not working. Like I don't think it's actually. I don't want to say a 2-time Coleman medalist wanting to leave is a blessing in disguise, but I think it quietly is, in my opinion. I think it changes the way we play. Harry can be the main guy. We can, fingers crossed, he goes for 40 or 50 goals. Obviously, he's different to Charlie. He's not going to turn games on its head all the time, but he has the ability to do so. But yeah, with Khamis up there, I like that. Like you said, he's got that. It's like Khamis is a forward.
Yes,
he's got that ability to jump at the ball. He's got good hands, and clearly, like I said, clearly they go, okay, we see you there, or we see you wherever they see him. Hopefully, it's forward in our case, but yeah, I think it's a blessing in disguise. And in terms of key stocks, like in defense, obviously we're drafting a very, very good kid who I think he's one of those kids who just looks ready to go. To be honest, he's got good size about him. So that could almost push Gov out the door too.
Yeah.
They might go, fuck, this kid's a gun. We want to play him straight away. So I know Vossi spoke about it a little bit on SEN. He said he didn't want to put too much pressure on the kid, but he's pretty handy. But yeah, it is interesting in terms of the forward key stocks. You bring in Khamis. You don't probably need to bring in too many. You might draft one, or you might get a cheaper 23-year-old. I like it's gone a little bit smaller. And it's not small. Like, if you've got Harry Mackay, Khamis, or if they opt to play Kemp forward, that's not our choice. But if they opt to, it's not short. And I think we have other guys who can float through there and play really good. So, in terms of Williams and Motlop, we want Motlop to play forward more. If we play a small forward line, he might get more of an opportunity. So, it opens up different doors. And I really like how we're attacking the needs. The needs, and obviously we'll touch on the other two who've requested trades over the past few weeks, but those are two needs in terms of Chesser and Reidy as well. You know, like Chesser's a good ball user, probably plays on the wing, high half forward, a good user of the footy, good age. It's like, I feel like that's the need right now, a good ball user, and then obviously a second ruck in Reidy, or, if he battles Pito for the first ruck.
And then whether that, like, heading into next year with the forward line, maybe Hudson O'Keefe might get that deal as that second ruck, and maybe we just play Mackay and Hudson O'Keefe, and everyone else is smalls. And like, I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, I think to have probably 2 to 3 key stocks either end in the VFL, I think that kind of makes me comfortable, just because I have PTSD of past years of in need of key stocks, and we just don't have them because they're not available. So that's the only way that I look at it. I think probably Buku Khamis, and maybe, Harry Dean obviously will be drafted, so that's a great player to be like transition into the defense. But if we can get another player, I don't know whether it's a cheap guy, but just to have him as a key stock only in the forward line, that's great. But before we move on to, I guess, the other two names, Duffy Boy, Liam Reidy, and Campbell Chesser. Buku Khamis, you said that he debuted in 2021. Do you know what club he debuted against?
He played against us, I think. Yeah,
he debuted against the Carlton Footy Club.
Yeah, because I remember that game. We lost, I think. Did we lose?
Yes, we lost.
We lost. Yeah, we lost a few games that year.
Was that the game that we went to together?
Yes, I think so. And it was kind of in COVID, and we were up by a half time, and Harry kicked 4 at half time, and Eddie kicked 4, Eddie Betts kicked 4, and then we met the Bev show. So, for people who don't, I imagine a lot of people do know who he is in the footy landscape. But yes, he did. I do kind of, and I'll tell you this is another fact for you. Who did Lewis Young debut against?
Carlton.
Yeah, he did, and we were wearing might have been the first or second Carlton Respects game. Geez, I'm enough.
Yes.
No. It's full enough there. And he took a hanger. He took a hanger.
Hanger, yeah. At the G.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the G.
And we lost that too.
We always thought, like, back there, we were like,
no.
The Dogs is our bogey team. Don't you worry about that. We always beat the Doggies. And what do you know? Every single game that we look back to, we're like, oh, no, we lost that game in the end, didn't we?
Yep.
But, so that's quite funny how because I thought that we went to that game, and I'm like, I think that's when Buku made his debut, so I just thought I would confirm that. But I think to look at his age as well, he's obviously 25. So so he'll be 26 next year. So I think that's probably that is right heading into his prime if he's not already in his prime. So I think it's just opportunity for Khamis. I think that's really what it is. If you're competing against Sam Darcy and Aaron Norton in the forward line, I think it's pretty hard. And he's not that lockdown key defender that the Dogs obviously need. So I think it's good for him to just move away, fresh new start. Hopefully with the opening with Kerner. Well, not hopefully. Like kind of use a bit of hoping, but I want Khamis to enter into the club with a fresh start, with an opportunity right in front of him, but maybe compete with maybe 2 or 3 other players. But let's now move on to our last 2 players that we'll mention for this quick video. It's obviously Liam Reidy and Campbell Chesser. We'll start off with Liam Reidy first. But your thoughts straight away on Reidy, and if you think this is a very good get to just have that bit of competition with Pito, and he's playing behind like Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson at Fremantle. So it's very hard for him to break through. And he's been on the list for a few years now. So now it's kind of that opportunity where he realised that there probably now is a chance to play AFL football at Carlton. And who knows, like players like this, when they get an opportunity at another club, it usually turns out well.
This is what I've been saying. Like people go, these guys aren't big names, but we have the big names. We have the big names. We always talk about these A graders we've got. We have them. only our fucking team. You know, Walsh, Wiederings, Cripps, Mackay. There's other names through there. And people are just talking about these names, but they're needs. We need to fill these needs. We didn't have them. So obviously with TDK leaving, I'm pretty happy with this, to be honest. You look at Lloyd Meek at Hawthorn. I'm not saying Reidy is Lloyd Meek by any stretch, but he could be. Bit of a taller player, a bit longer, but he was a mature age pickup. Had to work his ass off to get a spot on an AFL list. He was at Frankston initially for his first few years, so he wasn't drafted straight away. Like I said, he's had to work for it. He had to work to get on a list. Now he has to work to get a game, a Carlton, which I'm really pleased about, and it gives very, very good competition to Pato. Very, very good competition. And I'm not saying Pitto. I think Pitto will be the number one from the start of the season. But, if, Reidy could prove us otherwise heading into next year. And clearly Carlton look at him as a potential option to be the number one. And, I think when you look at a trade for him, it's not going to be too much, Pato. He's not going to game. And like you said, they've got two premier ruckmen literally playing in their team.
And I think they have another one. I think Riddle. I think Riddle's Aiden Riddle.
They're just growing ruckman on trees down at Dockerland.
Well, I think the Cats would probably want a bit of a what they're growing down at Dockerland, that boy, at a Continue Park. But so he's also 25.
Yeah. So yes, this is what I'm saying.
He's getting towards his prime. Prime
Liam Reidy.
I'm actually excited about this game. So, so let's hope that the trade can get done.
Yep.
What trade do you think would, like we were speaking about round 7 or round 6, but realistically, he is contracted, isn't he?
Yeah, so it has to be a trade. So he's requested a trade.
Yeah.
So obviously that'd need to be a trade. It'd be like pick 60.
Yeah.
It's one of those high ones. And then in terms of Buku, I think Buku, they'll try and get more out of him. It'll be interesting to see what we do because we have 30. I'm pretty sure we have pick 34 and 44. So do you use one of those on Buku and Chesser? Do you, if they want a little bit more for Buku, you want to try and get these guys through the door who want to be at the club. That's just you don't want to pay overs. You don't want to pay overs, but I don't want to, no hassling. Just get them through the door and then you can sort out your other stuff. We've obviously got bigger things to deal with in terms of, Charlie leaving and, whether we get something in return. So you want to get these deals done. You don't want to wait till fucking deadline day for these ones.
Yeah. And that's something in return, Daffy Boy, would be a certain midfielder from the Port Adelaide Football Club. And we're not going to say exactly who it is. That will be a bit of a teaser into the next video because who knows? Through the week, there might be a bit of news on that. We don't know. It's more hoping, but a certain Port Adelaide midfielder will come to the Carlton Football Club next year. But quick one about Chesser as well. So he's 22.
Yeah, love it. I love this get.
And I'm looking at his date of birth, 2003.
Yeah.
Fuck, we're old.
Yeah,
like, I'm 01, you're 02, he's 03. What's going on?
Yep. I am so I will say this right now. Exciting. He will be one of the gets of the trade period because he was unfortunately, hampered with injuries and stuff. His last month for West Coast was phenomenal this season. And they were shattered he's going. The coaches shattered he's going. And that wasn't a fake. He really rates him highly. So he was pick 14 in the 3-4 years ago. Might have been the 21 draft. But yeah, man, we're getting a very high talent. And if he, gets on the park and gets some continuity that he probably needs, Pato, I'm really, really, really pleased with this one because you're not going to get him for much.
Yeah. So he was pick 14 in 2021 and he made his debut in 2023. So right there, it just kind of shows that. And that was a pretty good draft as well. That was Horn Francis.
Yeah, yes.
Or was that the year after?
No, actually, I think it might have been. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because we played North in 22. And
22 when Horn Francis got in
a sauce. Yeah, well, I'm not calling him that anymore, to be honest. Silvani.
Jack.
Jack, that fucking defender.
Jack, yeah. But yeah, so a quick one about Chesser as well. I think the way, like, what I'm nervous about, because we haven't really had great, I guess, like, we haven't been great with recruiting players and keeping them on the park. So if that's his problem, I just hope that our medical staff and like the whole coaching staff can get himself right. Because I really would like to see him play a full season of AFL football. Because I know that I've been a big fan of him when he has been on the park, and even when he has played for West Coast. And I've been watching West Coast games, not too many out of my own will, Daffy boy, but but seeing Chesser play, I've actually realised him. So that's actually quite a promising get. So let's just hope we can get him right. And Reidy as well, and Buku Khamis. So 3 players right there, Daffy boy. It's very, very exciting times. But before we wrap up this video, Daffy boy, is there anything else you would like to touch on before I'm sure we'll touch on some more news within the next few weeks?
No, it's good. I'm just pleased that, like I said, getting the needs done early. They've requested trades to Carlton. Clearly, you're not going to be getting guaranteed games, but I guess Buku would probably be close to that, in my opinion, if he's wanting to make that move. Obviously, there's been some other links. I think it was CJ from Hawthorn. I'm a little bit iffy on that one, but that's obviously been probably another name that's kind of been in the media, Pato. Nothing really else at the moment, apart from 58,000 different trade scenarios for Charlie Curnow. And just quickly on that, Riley Beveridge said yesterday, Carlton do not want picks for Charlie Curnow. They want a superstar player. I fucking love that. When I hear to, like, this is what I don't understand. Why do people think, like, I know based off this year, you could probably say we're going to be shit next year. I don't think we will be. I just don't think we will be. And I know this could bite me in the ass, and I've had many things bite me in the, but I don't know how that team can be shit. I just think this year there was so many different issues that weren't football related that just weighed on the. Remember that 8-week patch where we lost to North and lost to Port? Those were more than footy problems, Pato. Like, the whole club was just on its fucking knees, and we had players who didn't want to fucking be there. That's it. They didn't want to dig their heels in the hard games, Pato. You wonder why? Because they're thinking about where they're going to go. 3-4 months ago, Charlie individually approached Geelong during the season when he was taking pot shots at goal and missing shots and riding his bike to the game. Like, this is what I'm getting at. If we can get these guys out of the fucking club, which they will, TDK to a lesser extent, he's got so much money thrown at him. I don't even think that's a club issue or his issue in terms of he wanted to leave. He would have stayed at Carlton. I can almost guarantee it if we had a better offer or whatever. But, Silvani and Curnow, like, if you don't want to be there, go. And we want guys round 1 next year. I want to sit in my seat. Pat, I'm sure you're going to be there. And you want to sit there going, I'm confident these guys want to play for the monogram, want to win games for Carlton. Whether we're 3 goals down, they're not going to go, it's too hard. How many games this year where we could have won, where we're up at half time and they just didn't want to dig the heels in and win? Like, that's all it is. It's a mentality, man. It is a mentality. And hopefully these guys, and based on Walsh's comments, in the last few weeks of the season, Wiedering's comments on, SEN, if you don't want to be here, go. I love that. I love that. That's just my final point, Pato. And that's why I like getting these guys in who aren't fucking superstars. They want to earn their games. They want to win games for Carlton.
Yeah. I'm sure there will be other names as well that will come up with, I don't know, if it's the player requesting a trade out or if Carlton is saying, look, you need to explore your options with what we're doing with Elijah Hollins and Jackson Binns. So, I mean, I'm sure there will be more players come trade period. Like the Matt Candy and Matt Owies, that only really came to light when the trade period actually started. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's great to have these players requesting trades and have talks when the trade period isn't even close.
No. It's good.
Like it starts to the in October. So I think we still have a good few weeks to get some more players where maybe they request trades to Carlton, but also players say, look, you need to explore your options because we don't want you at the football club anymore. And like at the end of the day, I think that's good because we're kind of the first club to really start this new movement of the clubs matter more than the player. If the player doesn't want to be there or wants to be there, I think the club should be in control of that, not the player saying, oh, nah, I don't want to be here. I want to go. Like, the club will be like, no, you're not going anywhere. Or, no, I really want to stay. No, you're out. Like, I want there to be a bit more like ruthless aggression. So that's something that I'm quite excited for trade period, boy. But to every single blue bagger out there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. There is a lot more videos like this coming your way, especially through trade period. There is a lot of content that we're planning on doing. So if you can subscribe and put turn your notifications on the YouTube channel. I haven't said that before, Dave Boy, so I just had to make sure I had it clear. But if you can turn your notifications on so you don't miss a video from our end, that would be great. But also get around our podcast platforms. We don't upload these videos on them, but for next year when we do more of a episode sort of scenario video, that's when we will upload on those podcast platforms, but also get around our socials. We are well and truly trying to get on top of that through trade period. But to you, Daffy boy, and to every single blue bagger out there, the baggers.